Hello! With the Fnaf movie releasing in just a few days, and with it being already released in a few places, I thought I would make this video. Yes, I do know that the movie already released in some countries. In this video, I will talk about what I expect from the movie, and what I think it will be like. And after we see the movie, we can see if my assumptions were correct or not. This video isn't about what I want from the movie, it's about what I think it will have and be like. But I will also comment a little on my expectations and say if I think they are positive or negative. Also keep in mind that this video is just my opinion. I have both a few positive and a few negative expectations, so like and subscribe and let's start. I expect this movie to develop its characters and have more conflict than just the animatronics trying to kill the protagonists. As many of you know, the man behind the slaughter will be in the movie, and he will obviously play a big role. I think he will be an antagonist that actively tries to stop the protagonists along with the animatronics, just like in the Fnaf books, where both the different animatronics and Afton try to stop them. We know that there will be a fight scene, and I think this might be a fight between Michael and Afton. I think that William Afton will actively try to kill the main characters. However, I don't know yet what his motive might be, and I assume that this is Afton. What I expect from this is that there will be more conflict than just the animatronics versus the protagonists. I think that this is a positive. The protagonist trying to find and stop William, or the other way around, is good, because there's more conflict. This will not be just a slasher movie, like some very tropey horror movies. This would make this movie an actual good horror movie with an actual plot, not just, oh, the animatronics try to kill the main characters for 2 hours and boom, movie over. That is not what I want, and that is not what I think we are gonna get. Thankfully, it wasn't like that in the Fnaf books, so I don't think it will be like that in the Fnaf movie. Another expectation I have is, well, I expect the movie to hold back on the kills and violence in the beginning. What do I mean by this? Well, in the first Fnaf book, The Silver Eyes, they go to the pizzeria multiple times, but only at basically the end of the book do the animatronics actually try to attack the main characters. The book really held back in the beginning in order to make the climax at the end of the book have more stakes and be more exciting, and of course have more of an impact. Because the book did this, I also feel like the movie will. I seriously doubt that the movie will have a bunch of kills in the beginning, or even the middle. It would make the ending, where there's a ton of action, be more climatic and have more stakes. However, we have to acknowledge that the movie is close to being 2 hours long, so there being no big action scenes in the beginning and especially the middle, unlikely. What I am trying to say is that I think the big action sequences where characters die will mostly happen at the end, just like in the Fnaf books. I think that this is something positive, because having big action sequences at the beginning and middle of the movie would, in my opinion, worsen the pacing of the movie. The book having the big long scene where the animatronics hunt the protagonists was really cool and tense, and I feel like it would not be like that if we got a big scene like that before in the book. Let's talk about the horror of the movie, because well, this is a horror movie, come on. I don't expect the movie to be all that scary, but I also don't expect it to be not scary at all, if that makes sense. I expect the movie to be spooky sometimes, but never anything very scary. I don't think that this movie will be remembered as one of the scariest horror movies, but I do think that it will have creepy scenes. I think that it will be like that because, well, from a lot of the shots in the trailers we have gotten, the animatronics look silly, a little goofy. Like, look at this, they don't look scary in this shot. However, there are a few shots where they do look scary. Now, these are not anything terrifying, but they are a bit spooky. So from what I saw from the trailers, I think that parts of the movie are going to be pretty scary, but definitely not the whole thing. Now, I think that this is a little bit of a negative, but if I'm going to be completely honest, we won't really know until the movie comes out. So keep in mind that I am just speculating and making a theory from the trailers. I do hope that the movie is really scary. The trailers lead me to believe that parts of it will be scary, but not the entire thing. Like I mentioned before, I think that this movie not being scary will be a negative. It is a horror movie after all, but even if the movie won't be scary, I feel like it will be good in other aspects. I mean, I think that the story and characters in the Fnaf books were really good. I really enjoyed that aspect in the Fnaf books, so hopefully the movie will also be the same. So even if the movie is not scary, I think it can deliver in other ways. My next expectation is, well, I expect this movie to be a big success. This year, movies such as the Mario movie and Barbie movie were huge successes, and they were based off of previously established IPs, just like the Fnaf movie. Fnaf is not anywhere near as big as Mario, and the Barbie is very popular too, maybe not as much as back in the day, but it is still a very recognizable IP. We already have news that the Fnaf movie already made more than its budget from streaming rights and theatrical rights. So that means the movie made back its money, and it hasn't released yet. I think that this is a really good sign. Also, because I expect the Fnaf movie to be successful, I expect sequels. We already know that we will get them if the movie is successful, and since the movie already made back more than its budget, I think we might be getting that sequel. And the more sequels we get, the more Fnaf will grow, and we will get even more Fnaf content. Fnaf is expanding towards other ways of consuming content like movies, and I feel like that will make Fnaf an even bigger franchise. People who don't play video games can now be introduced to Fnaf, and they might become fans, which I feel will grow Fnaf even more. So I really think that Fnaf will get bigger and bigger in the coming years, which is something really exciting. The first jump like this that we saw was Help Wanted and Security Breach, because these games were actually made by studios, and not just by Scott Cawthon. Fnaf is expanding whether you like it or not, and me personally, I think that's a really good thing. In conclusion, I expect sequels to the Fnaf movie, and I expect the movie to be successful. Another thing I expect is a little bit of fan service, like for example by having a pixel-like minigame scene. Maybe in the beginning or the end of the movie, have a small scene that uses 8-bit visuals, just like the minigames in the games. I feel like this would be a fun nod to fans of the franchise, because the 8-bit minigames are actually quite a large part of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think it would be really cool if there was a small 8-bit scene. Maybe Michael driving to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza can be 8-bit. Or maybe at the beginning of the movie we can see the pizzeria and the animatronics in 8-bit. I feel like it would be a cool nod to fans of FNAF. Speaking of fan service, I expect to have some sort of reference to "It's me." "It's me" is a famous phrase in FNAF. It is very recognizable and I immediately think of FNAF when I hear it. So having these famous two words in the movie would just fit. Even non-FNAF fans know this phrase, and it is associated with FNAF by many people. Having it in the movie would just make sense, and that is why I expect it. Another thing that lands in this category is Phone Guy. I expect to have some sort of Phone Guy in the movie. Maybe it won't be Scott Cawthon, I don't really know yet. I think he might not want to play Phone Guy because he rejected to create new voice lines for FNAF Plus. But even if it's not Scott Cawthon playing Phone Guy, I still feel like it would be really cool to have him. We didn't hear Phone Guy since FNAF 3. No, Help Wanted does not count. His voice lines in that game were reused. Same for Ultimate Custom Night. And I'm sorry, but although Hand Unit is still cool, I feel like he doesn't have the charm that Phone Guy does. Even if Phone Guy is voiced by someone else, I want him in the movie. And I also expect him in the movie because Phone Guy is a large part of FNAF. He's the guy that explains the mechanics of the game, all while having a nice personality and some funny dialogue.
The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night.
Phone Guy is just a really fun character and I hope we see him in the movie. And I expect him because, well, he's a big part of the games. So I think that they had to have incorporated him in the movie in some way. Even just a small reference would be really cool. So those were my expectations for the FNAF movie. I know that this video is a bit late, because the movie already released in some places. Tell me your expectations in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed and thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. This was GameSpeaking and goodbye.